For most of us, probably all of us, having a well thought out vision like the one you've just created will give our lives direction and meaning. But if you really want to be successful, you'll need the help of others. Therefore, this section will be about communicating your vision in your personal and professional life. That communication will convince others to become a part of your vision, to adopt parts of your vision as their own, or to just give you a helping hand when you need it. We humans are social animals. We like being in a group, supporting each other and receiving support from others. You'll need to use this fact to help you communicate your vision. There are many people you will meet in your life who do not know their own vision, confuse it with immediate goals and objectives, and are overwhelmed by the influences of others. All of us are constantly barraged with messages about what we should expect to make us content, happy, successful. Politicians are constantly talking about the American dream, as if it were some kind of prefab vision of the future that we're all born with. This prevailing wisdom is that we all want to own a home in a subdivision, have a spouse and 2.5 children, and have a high-paying job. The national media bombard us with images of smiling, beautiful young people who use a certain toothpaste, drive a certain car, wear certain clothes, or take certain medications. Many of us accept these messages and incorporate them into a vision of how our lives should be lived. Most people do not sit down and investigate, as you now have, what should be in their vision. Therefore, there's a great deal of confusion within most people as to what they should want. You need to be aware of the power these influences have on your friends, family, and associates. But you should also recognize that other people are interested in dreams of the future. This fact will allow you to take two approaches to get others to help you realize your vision. The first, get people excited about your vision and find a part of your vision in which they want to participate. The second is to find out what their vision is and discover those parts of it that match your own, so they'll want to work with you to achieve both your visions. In either approach, you'll need to know what it is you want people to help you do, or how you want them to participate in your vision. Do you need them to perform specific tasks, or are you looking for them to join you in a life journey? It is important that you know what you need from others before you approach them. It is also important that you understand what motivates others, individually and in groups. Most people think the great motivator is money. Some think it is power. Others think it is self-interest of any kind. In fact, the great motivator for people is dreams. People will chase dreams with an intensity they'd never display for money, power, or other forms of self-interest. It is ideas that move people to action. In our society, we find it unfathomable that a young terrorist will blow themselves up for a cause. We think they must be mentally ill to do such a thing. We cannot understand how hundreds of people will drink the Kool-Aid, as they did in the jungles of Central America, to follow a religious leader. Many of us wonder why these people are not out trying to make more money, create their own businesses, or get a job with a multinational corporation. That's what we would do. Or would we? Well, guess what? We're the same people who died by the hundreds of thousands in a great civil war. We're the same people who sacrificed ourselves to dogs and water cannons in a great civil rights movement. We're the same people who rushed into the Twin Towers to rescue others and lost our lives in the process. Do you think money, power, or self-interest made us do these things? Obviously not. All of those people who were just like us gave their lives for ideas, concepts, or dreams about what their lives should be about what they thought our society should stand for. They died for ideas that are best realized in their imaginations, in the vision they had for their country, their brothers, their fellow citizens. Consider this fact when you're about to reveal your vision to others. You don't need to dumb down your message like they do in politics. You don't need to reconfigure your vision so that it includes a personal reward for others. You just need to present the ideas as you believe them. But how do you approach the subject with others? Well, probably the best way to start is by taking the opportunity to bring your vision up when having a casual conversation. It is usually best to start with a question about someone else's dreams, as most people love to talk about themselves. If you're going to ask someone about their vision, you might start with the question, have you ever stopped to think about how you'd like your life to turn out? Continue to question any person about what kind of life they see themselves living, and eventually you'll elicit parts of their personal vision. If during this conversation or series of conversations, the other person starts to talk about something you have envisioned, or something close to what you've envisioned, you can then jump in and say something like, wow, I was thinking almost the same thing. Then describe that part of your vision that you think connects with what the other person has described. If there is a connection, the other person will show some sense of excitement. After all, it is exciting when two people discover they have similar views of the future. Using the word imagine at the beginning of any discussion with a person or group of people will gain attention immediately. You must set a precedent with others. They must know you have a vision. They must know you want them to be part of that vision. The best example of this type of vision sharing is President John F. Kennedy's "We'll put a man on the moon and bring him back safely by the end of this decade." Thousands of people with different agendas, scientists, adventurers, pilots, engineers, technicians, inventors, all saw something in that vision that excited them. They may not have cared if the United States was the preeminent space leader in the world, that great scientific discoveries were involved, or that a great jobs program for educated people would result. They wanted to work on what they saw as their future. Someone else's vision became their own. The purpose of sharing is to get other people to see their vision as tied to yours. You don't have to get them to commit to any action or result. If you've communicated well, they'll be right behind you as you move forward in the world. If you're addressing a group of people, you should be aware that most people listen to see what is wrong with what they hear. They approach all presentations critically. That is how most of us have been trained. From elementary school through college, we've learned to listen with a critical ear. So, the first thing you must do is set expectations. You must provide a framework within which they can listen and hear what you have to say. You might start by saying, "What I'm going to tell you about is not real. It's a dream, but it might become real if we all want it to." Or you might say, "There's a place that all of us might want to be in the future. I can't show it to you or prove that it will happen, but we could all put our efforts into creating it." In either of the instances above, and others you might come up with, you're diffusing the automatic critical reaction you would get if you just started describing your vision. If you just start talking about what you've imagined. Many of the same basics apply when you're communicating your vision professionally. You must first understand your audience. Is it one person or many? Are they critical by nature? How do you diffuse that criticality? Are all or many of them in the same situation that you are? Will they find something in your vision that will attract them viscerally? Is your audience used to high-end PowerPoint presentations with charts and graphs and special effects to maintain interest, or are they more amenable to simple in-person discussions? Are they used to open questioning or a one-way exchange of information? Are they going to be young, new employees, or old seasoned ones? Know all there is to know about your audience's expectations, and you're on your way to being successful. In professional presentations, you may want to use professional opening statements such as, "Let's take time now to discuss the future and how what we do today will influence that future." Or, "We all know the value of being imaginative in business. It's time now to use that quality to see if we can't influence where we'll be 5, 10, or 20 years from today." Again, statements like this set the expectations of your audience and let them know that even though you'll be discussing a vision, you're still being businesslike. This is like telling them you're going to be dreaming, but with your feet on the ground. Take a few minutes with form number 7 and see if you can't come up with an opening that sets the expectations of the people you will need to communicate with. Keep in mind what you know about them. When you've finished, come back to the video.